Hey guys, Lowell Tech Fix here, and I am in the Tech Fix Talk studios with
David Cochran.
David Cochran. Who are you, David Cochran?
I'm a career mechanic,
Okay.
business owner, own 2 shops with my
Okay.
wife up in Minnesota, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm trying to get into the coaching and teaching side of it to help
Okay.
bring up next generation of techs.
So if you don't know, David and I have known each other, well, over 5 years now.
Yeah, at least.
So we had a coaching relationship together. I came in and helped him with his shop. And one of the things that always, I felt like we were cut from the same cloth is career technicians, right?
Mhm.
Career mechanics. That's funny. It's a funny word to debate. Like, are you a technician or are you a mechanic? I don't think that younger people debate that. I think it's technician now. Like, I don't think anybody has technician. Maybe somebody
Right.
should. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. Because you work with technicians every day, you and I both were technicians or still are technicians to some degree. I want to talk about mindset or philosophy that a technician should have. And if, again, I always say this, you'll probably hear me say this every Tech Fix Talks, is that we do this while you guys are in town. While our instructors are in town, we're in the studio while conference is going on right now. So many of them are teaching up there. And one of the subjects of this conference, or one of the themes, has been PMA, or we call it positive mental attitude, okay? So I want to ask you, like, in your career, what are some of the, how do you get in the right headspace? Like, something goes wrong and you still have to produce. So I want to ask you, what are some tips and tricks, and how do you, so externalize that for a moment. How do you get your technicians who are going through a rough time, how do you coach them back to a state of, PMA? Let's say that.
You brought it. That's without any warning. Like, you're bringing a
I'm
good
bringing
question
it.
right from the get-go. Just to get in the right mindset, it's tough because you almost get blinders on, and you start seeing things like, nope, it can't be this, it has to be that. And we actually had a discussion with the technicians that were down here right now that I brought, and it's like, no, you have to, like, almost look at it from a bigger picture and go back to the foundations. And as a young tech, I struggled also, but it's just kind of understanding, like, you need to keep powering through it and figure out, like, why are you doing this? And family, whether it's your passion, probably both. If people aren't passionate about cars, it's not a real high likelihood that they're going to be a career technician. Like, you really got to love what you do, and it kind of gets in your blood.
I agree with that. I see that, a lot of technicians think cars are okay, but they really love solving problems. Yeah. So it's really great for, those people like us. But yeah, I mean, I have passion for cars. I think probably everybody in this building, all 200 people that are in here, have passion for cars. So
yeah, and you don't even have to be like a gearhead, like into fast cars and race cars, but just fixing cars. And it's super rewarding and gratifying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just love hooking up the scan tool and being like, oh, look, check it out, whatever. So like they can program this or whatever. But I didn't mean to take you off. So, but let me ask you, this is more of a, for instance, you as a technician, you have a comeback. It's not a good one. Like, you made a simple mistake that was like it turned into a big ordeal. Customer's upset. There's refunds being executed. So you're paying your customer back some money. You have to do the job over for free. Maybe your boss is charged. Like, there's all these things going on. Because I find this is one of the hardest places that I struggled with. I didn't have a lot of comebacks, but when I did, it really threw me off my game. So I want to hear how you as a technician dealt with, because you had comebacks, right? Everyone does. And then how do you coach your technicians back to a solid, positive, like, get them back in the game?
Well, own it. As an adult, just own it. Instead of blaming, well, it's that person's fault, or it's this thing's fault, or that guy told me the wrong drain plug. The list goes on forever. Just own it. Hey, you know what? I screwed that one up. All right, that's going to de-escalate everything, whether it's customer, owner, advisor. Once you own it, everybody comes down a level and it's like, cool. And then just ask questions. What did I do wrong? How can I do better? How can I keep from making that mistake again? And just trying to use it as a learning opportunity. Like, it's really easy to say when you're not in the moment. Like, when you're in the moment, it's awful. And, you beat yourself up a whole bunch. And I actually used to keep the pieces of the comebacks on top of my toolbox to remind me.
The wall of shame.
Slow down,
Mhm.
attention to detail, all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, you know, when you put the wrong push rod in the wrong hole, you bend a valve, you break a push rod, you keep those little tools or mementos on your toolbox.
Gosh,
you never do it again.
It's on the tip of my tongue. What engine are you talking about?
3.4 GM.
Okay, 3.4. All right. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many of those did you have in your toolbox?
I had one valve, one push rod, same motor, same hole. I've probably done that job 100 times.
Yeah.
That was the one I got wrong.
Was the one you got wrong.
And I kept it.
We're all going to have comebacks.
absolutely.
It's just going to happen.
Yeah,
so
just own it, though.
Own it. But so let's talk about after that moment. I mean, I have a comeback. It ruins my day, possibly my week. My production goes down. How do you, and this is maybe a little bit outside of the scale of, or the conversation of PMA. How do I get that technician or myself, how do I make myself more productive, get back to productivity, and rebuild trust?
As a tech, I don't know. I think everybody's different. Every tech's different. There's some techs that need a lot of reinforcement. There's some techs you don't have to say a word to them. They'll beat themselves up more than you'll ever yell at them.
I'm that tech.
Yeah, I got one working for me right now.
Okay.
You don't have to say a word to him, and you do have to talk him off the cliff every once in a while because he'll beat himself up for days. So if you usually let it go on maybe an hour, then after that, now you put your owner hat roll, you walk over. It's okay. It sucks. You're still a good tech. We love you. We believe in you. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You're not in trouble. Pat on the back. Let's learn. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
And let's move on.
I think a lot of technicians need that reassurance. I know that I did. I didn't want it right away, you know, because I needed to beat myself up for a little while. You know, like I was saying that a comeback would really ruin, like depending on the severity of it, you know. If the customer was just like picky about something, I didn't touch it on the car or whatever, then that was a different story. But I left a bolt loose, right? And that caused a belt to come off, and that caused something else. And this caused, like anytime a comeback comes in on a tow truck, that is a really bad sign to me. And I'll beat myself up. So as a lead technician or a foreman making a mistake like that with my entire crew under me, and this is, I'm using actual experience here, my entire crew under me, it was really hard to be like, hey guys, can you get these cars done today? You know, or hey guys, like you left a bolt off the car. I mean, like you said, you have to own it. I think number one, that's like so I had to own it, but I felt so bad. And I said this from the stage yesterday, but we practiced something as a group, and I think this is helpful. And I think this is where we can at least wrap up this portion of the conversation. We practiced something we call PMA, okay? If I have a bad day, PMA. If my buddy has a bad day, PMA. We practice it together. We realize that we're all human. So it was a trick that we developed, or I developed for myself, that worked for everybody else. And, you know, a guy would have a comeback and you would, you know, of course, acknowledge that comeback and didn't ignore it, but everyone would be like PMA. And we'd try to lift each other up, right? When I had that comeback, it was like so humiliating, but it did help me. All my guys came over and they were like PMA, you know? And it was like this moment in the shop where it was like, we were unified,
They're
right?
They're coaching up the ladder,
yeah.
and it's not coming.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good tips in this podcast. Like, you know, own it. I think David's, you're absolutely right. Get in the habit of, you know, checking your work, double checking your work. Make sure when something happens, like you guys got each other's backs. Don't point fingers at each other. Now, we can't disregard the technician who has come back every other vehicle. That guy, there's no PMA for him, right? He's like, should be, you know, maybe at the subway or something. I don't know. But yeah, absolutely.
That's always the guy who puts his notice in, or the one that you have to just let go, that, you know, they have very few comebacks, and as soon as they're gone, that's all you see for the next 2 months. One after the other. It's like, oh yeah.
That's one of the reasons why we teach on KPIs here, is that so everybody, look, I've been doing this a long time, man, and you and I have talked about this before. Like, there are ways for yourself to be able to like look at, you know, your KPIs, and we'll do more podcasts on this later. But you can look at your KPIs and really figure out, like, am I doing well with this service advisor? Am I doing well at this job? You know, like, there are signs that come up on the road long before 2 weeks happens, long before you're in trouble. So we'll talk about that more. We do talk about that in our foundations course, so please check that out. I want to just ask you, one more thing. If you, in like coaching your technicians, what is your primary goal with them? Is it production? Is it, is it their satisfaction? Like, what is your primary goal?
My primary goal with all the techs is to bring out the best technician in them. You know, everybody wants to be the best technician. Like, well, that's fine, but it's like, where's your best technician? And with a lot of my techs, they sell themselves really short. I mean, I have some very brilliant techs that think they're only worth a certain level or can only do this. Like, you have no idea how smart you are and how far you can go in this industry. You just have to make sure that you just focus on what you're doing and your continual growth, because it's almost like it's a huge bell curve that there's no finish line to.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever get over it, because by the time you hit one hump, the industry change, you're on to the next hump again.
Yeah.
And just really seeing greatness in them that they might not be able to see, and hopefully someday they'll be able to see it, and then maybe someday they'll turn around and pass it along. Because as a technician, I never went to tech school. Everything I learned on the job. I've never been to college, and I own 2 businesses. So everything is mentors, on-the-job training, coaching. So hopefully they can do that to somebody else someday too.
That's awesome, man. I just want to remember something that you said, and I think it's a really good point. It's not about being the best tech. It's about being your best tech. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad I asked that question. Okay, cool. I feel like we're in a good place to stop, man. It was a good conversation. Yeah. All right. So again, PMA. Practice it individually and as a group. And then you don't have to be the best tech. Be your best tech.
Be your best tech.
Be your best tech, man. I really like that.
You should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that next conference. We'll be your best tech. All right, cool. All right, guys. David Cochran, thank you very much for coming here and talking with me today. Again, Lowell Tech Fix, and if you fix the cars, you fix the shop.